He was just a man coming home from work. 33 years old, tired, and thinking only of his 8-year-old son waiting at home. A small birthday gift rested beside him in a paper bag. Nothing extravagant, just a toy and a note, a small token of love from father to child. Marcus Hill's life was ordinary, steady, filled with responsibility and quiet hope. Then out of nowhere, red and blue lights flashed behind him. Officers stepped out, aggressive, commanding. Within moments, Marcus would be kneeling on wet asphalt, handcuffed, humiliated, all for no reason other than the color of his skin. A man's dignity stripped away in public view, while the world watched. Who would do this? What? How far would they go to break a man who had committed no crime? And what would happen when the truth was finally exposed? This is the story of Marcus Hill, a man humiliated by those sworn to protect him, and the shocking consequences that followed. It is a story of injustice, exposure, and eventual justice. Proof that silence cannot protect the guilty and truth cannot be ignored. Marcus Hill, 33, lived a life that was ordinary, steady, and yet filled with quiet responsibility. He worked nights at a local warehouse, carrying boxes and loading trucks, spending 12-hour shifts on his feet. He had been born and raised in Eastbrook, Ohio, a small city of brick homes and quiet streets, where neighbors knew each other by name. Marcus's apartment was modest but clean. His son, Jaden, 8 years old, was the center of his world. Every night, Marcus returned home with a small piece of himself, a routine gift or story, something tangible to show his love. That night he had finished his shift. The warehouse lights flickered off behind him as he drove down the slick asphalt streets, rain drizzling lightly against his windshield. On the passenger seat lay a small brown bag, a birthday gift for Jaden. Nothing elaborate, just a small toy and a note. He thought about the look on his son's face when he handed it over, about the bedtime story they would share afterward, and for a fleeting moment, he felt the small relief of being on his way home. Then the flashing lights appeared behind him. Red and blue, slicing through the darkness. He slowed. Pulled over. A simple, almost invisible fear lodged itself in his chest. He hadn't done anything. Nothing at all. But instinct told him to comply, to keep his hands visible, to stay calm. 2 police cruisers flanked his car. 4 officers stepped out. Leading them was Officer Reed, 38, stocky, confident, the kind of man who wears authority like armor. Beside him, a younger officer, Keller, 26, watched silently, hesitant, a man unsure where obedience ended and morality began. License and registration, Reed said, his voice low and firm. Marcus reached for his wallet, confused. Sure. Officer, what's the problem? Step out of the vehicle, Reed said. Marcus hesitated. Did I do something wrong? You match a suspect description. Step out. Now. There was no argument to be made. Marcus stepped out slowly, deliberately. His palms rested on the cold, wet hood of his car, rain soaking through his shirt. The chill bit at his skin. Reed's eyes swept over him, dismissive, calculating, as though Marcus's presence alone was a threat. Reed's search was aggressive. He yanked Marcus's arm, pushing him roughly against the vehicle. Stop resisting, Reed barked. Marcus flinched. I'm cooperating. But it didn't matter. He was already kneeling on the wet asphalt, rain soaking through his uniform. Passers-by recorded the scene on their phones. Reed's voice carried above the drizzle. Suspect detained for resisting arrest. Marcus Hill was not resisting. He had done nothing. And yet, in that moment, the color of his skin became the justification for humiliation. Keller shifted uncomfortably, hands in pockets, glancing at Reed, at Marcus, at the street. Something inside him stirred, a recognition of wrong. But he remained silent. Obedience had its own language and he knew how to speak it. Inside the Eastbrook Police Department, Marcus sat cuffed to a metal chair, soaked, trembling. Reed typed his report slowly, deliberately, indifferent to the man in front of him. Can I make a call? Marcus asked. In a minute, Reed said. Sergeant Ruiz entered, a calm presence in the charged room. She read the report and raised her eyebrows. What's the charge? She asked. Resisting arrest. Possible possession, Reed replied. We're checking the car. Possession of what? Ruiz pressed. Not sure yet, Reed said. But the stop was justified. Ruiz's gaze lingered on Marcus. You're free to go once we verify your information, she said. And you can file a complaint if you wish. Marcus said nothing. He had learned over the years that complaints rarely changed outcomes. Silence often became survival. When he stepped outside the station, the sky was lightening with dawn. His car had been towed. His phone lay cracked in his pocket. He was tired, cold, angry, and exhausted. A local reporter approached. "Mr. Hill, can you tell us what happened?" she asked. Marcus paused, looking at the drizzle-soaked streets. Then he spoke, quiet, steady. "They made me kneel in the rain while they laughed." "You tell me what that's called." By evening, footage from bystanders' phones had gone viral. Hashtags began trending, #Justice for Marcus. People across the city, the state, and eventually the country watched a man being humiliated, handcuffed, kneeling in the rain for no reason other than his skin. Inside the police department, Reed scrolled through his phone, red-faced. Keller, standing beside him, uneasily watched. "It's getting bad," he said. "Let them scream online," Reed snapped. "It'll blow over." But it did not. The world was watching and it refused to look away. Marcus sought legal counsel. Victor Lane, a seasoned civil rights attorney, took the case. "We're filing a civil suit," Victor said. "Unlawful detention, excessive force, racial discrimination. We'll request every second of body cam footage." "They'll cover it up," Marcus whispered. "They can hide lies, Marcus," Victor said. "They can't hide the truth forever." Over the coming weeks, the case exploded in public attention. News anchors debated the incident. Protesters gathered outside the police station with signs demanding accountability. Marcus lay awake at night, anxious, thinking about what might come next, and about the life of his son who would eventually inherit the world his father tried to survive in. Keller struggled with guilt. He had witnessed the humiliation and done nothing. Internal Affairs questioned him. He admitted Reed had gone too far. That admission would become pivotal evidence in the trial. The trial began. The courtroom was tense, cameras lining the walls, reporters scribbling notes, jurors whispering to one another. Marcus sat beside Victor. Reed and his attorney whispered anxiously on the other side. Victor presented the body cam footage. Marcus on his knees. Reed shouting. "Stop resisting," echoing across the screen. "This is not a story of misunderstanding," Victor told the jury. "It is a story of humiliation, built on the color of a man's skin." Still images were presented. Marcus kneeling, hands raised. Reed looming over him. Reed's attorney argued that he was acting for his safety. But the evidence was indisputable. The video, witness statements, and phone footage told the truth. The verdict was delivered by a judge who understood the weight of her words. Officer Reed and the Eastbrook Police Department are found liable for civil rights violations, unlawful detention, and emotional distress. Officer Reed, your actions violated the principles you were sworn to uphold. You are sentenced to 3 years in state custody. Your law enforcement certification is permanently revoked. You are disqualified from public service. Let this sentence reflect the gravity of your actions. Reed was escorted away, handcuffed, the same restraint he once imposed now closing around him. The aftermath saw reforms implemented across the Eastbrook Police Department. Anti-bias training, accountability measures, and policy overhauls were initiated under the guidance of Sergeant Ruiz. Keller retired early and dedicated himself to volunteer work in the community. Marcus returned home to his son. They played Lego quietly, simply. "Daddy's just telling the truth," he said. Loud enough that no one could ignore it. Protests, media coverage, legal accountability, all sent the same message. Abuse of power would not go unchallenged. Marcus Hill did not seek revenge. He claimed dignity. Justice, slow but inevitable, had arrived. And Marcus Hill, through quiet strength and support from those who refused to accept injustice, reminded the world, dignity cannot be stolen and truth cannot be silenced. 1 year later, Marcus spoke at community centers, schools, and local gatherings about civil rights, accountability, and the importance of standing against injustice. He had become a voice for those who had none. Officer Reed, now in custody, faced a different reality. Alone, reflecting on a career that had ended in disgrace, he understood, perhaps too late, that power without accountability has consequences. Keller, forever changed, worked to ensure no one else would witness abuse without acting. Sergeant Ruiz oversaw training programs, ensuring future officers understood the responsibility of their badge. The story of Marcus Hill became more than viral footage. It became a lesson in justice, accountability, and the enduring strength of one man who refused to be silenced. This was Echoes of Revenge, where silence speaks louder than anger, and justice always echoes back. Like, comment, and subscribe for more stories where betrayal meets justice, and karma always finds its echo.